All right, welcome back to the shop. This is tape 24 of the 25 build season. High voltage 11 is coming along pretty good. Um, Yesterday we got all of the flaps set up, tapered, installed, as well as the elevators. The only thing really left to do is the battery hatch, which I'm going to work on now. That'll be today's project, and then it's really just the cosmetic stuff, finish it up. I have to add the inside ribs to cap the end of the wing. I got to cut out for the lead outs. I got to just round off some of the edges, and then it's really just all cosmetic stuff at that point. But I'm gonna do the battery hatch today. We'll see how far we get. All right. So battery hatch, I happen to use these. They're pretty light. They're plastic. What I like about them is they're one piece where they don't slip off. And this is removable, so you can take it all apart while finishing, so you don't end up with paint goop in there. I get them on Amazon. They're pretty easy to get. They're pretty cheap, but they're also light and they work well. All right. I mean, right now this is sitting at about 32 ounces roughly. I want to say maybe a little less. Take a look. There's the back exhaust. I'm probably gonna have to cut another exhaust, so I don't know if that's enough exhaust. I gotta think about that. Do some math around it, try to figure it out. Generally, you want your exhaust to be twice as wide as the inlet. But that's pretty much where we are here. All right. All right, so we're gonna put this is gonna be a side mounted one. So we'll put the battery hatch in there. So what I did was, before I close this up, I take my X-Acto and I put some marks where I wanted the hatch to start and finish, just on this line. Then I gotta kind of figure out how wide do I want it. I want to stay away from the curves if possible, because then it just makes the fit up harder. But I want it wide enough where the battery, and you kind of possibly get your fingers around some of it, because we do have to strap it in. But look, so we'll figure out what that should be. We'll measure it all up. I'd like to put the hatch on the backside, just because if the hatch happens to fail, centrifugal force and wind will keep it in place, hopefully. All right. So we're going to take the wing off because it's just going to be in the way. I'm just going to take the inboard wing off. We're going to do some fit up here too as well. So what I'll do is, while I'm here, I will fit in the that 1/8 rib and kind of get the fit up a little better. All right, see how the wing comes off. Oh, look at that, nice and easy. Just in case you haven't seen the inside. And again, this one we'll use. I got the rib here, I'll put it in. The end gets capped off. And again, we're gonna have to open up these holes a little more to kind of give me plenty of clearance. What was nice is I kind of marked the outline of the wing too, so it kind of gives me an idea where we sit. All right. So now, for the fun, Alright, so my hatch opening, this one is about 7 7/8 long. Kind of laid it out so it's close to the formers, not on the form, but give enough room. All right. There's a seam right here. It looks like I'm going to use that seam. Pepper. See some more right? There we go. That one. I just want to stay away from any curvatures. I'd like to be able to, the side is, this is probably the only thing that's really flat on this is right here on this whole plane. So really want to not go up around the curve. I want to utilize that. Let's go off this line. There. So use my triangle here to kind of lay it out. There's one. Okay. So I think that's where the hatch is going to go. I do want to get a look at it from the side. Let's try to visualize it looking at it from the side. So looking at it, not bad. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get some, I have some round templates. I do want to make the hatch corners round. Just makes it for a better look. So I have some circle templates I'll kind of use to kind of figure out what radius I want. Maybe 1 3/8. Let's see, 1.5 radius. Too much. 1.25 I like. Alright, so you line the lines up. That whole trick is actually cutting it. So let's see. Okay. What I'm doing now is just marking a center line through this piece. Alright, and the other thing while I'm here, I'll mark this for this just to kind of get a good look at it and see if it's out of the way. Okay. I'm just marking for the hatch. Fully extended bolt, fully retracted bolt, just to make sure we're good. So I've retracted all the way, put it on the marks. Okay. Alright. And now for the fun. Alright, so I'm going to start out with a brand new 11 blade. Actually, this one I'm going to cut with a scalpel. I take that back. Scalpel blades are a little thinner and they don't deteriorate, they don't deform the metal much. I got a whole bunch of number 10s. I got 11s and 10s. I think I'm going to use a 10 for this. Just because the way the surface cuts. Hoping not to take away too much material. Just to show you a little trick, so I have a coffee cup with a lid on it. My daughter painted for me, and what I do is I've been dropping in razor blades in it for quite some time. So I keep it in my shop, and what I'll do is when it's almost full, I'll pour epoxy in it. And then nobody will get cut when you throw the thing out. Just something to do with some of your dead blades. Alright. So I'll probably use up a few blades here. I'm gonna try a 10. I have a bunch of them. I don't really love them, but just application, it'll be fine. Remember, they're very sharp, but they're really only meant to cut like 12 inches of flesh. Use my glasses to really help magnify it. And I'm just gonna take my time and score it carefully. Just really take your time here. What I'm going to do is cut the flats. And the round ones I'm going to do with a number 11, I think. Okay. The better to cut here, the better to fit up. So this is one of those things that you gotta just take your time with. And just taking your time. Just take your time here. Any jagged edge will show up. And it's a real pain to fill it in. Okay. Not bad. I'm going to go to an 11 blade just because it's got a point on it and it'll make cut the rounds easier. Be very careful taking these off because they will slice you right up. Crash. Nice brand new sterile number 11. So I'm really starting to think about the finish now. You know, thinking about the paint scheme, what should it look like, what colors. I mean, I always like red, white, and blue, always good colors. You know, now I got to think about it. But I'm thinking about going with a green, black, and white. We'll see, but that's one of the things I'm thinking about. All right, now this is what I feel the hardest part of this whole thing is getting to cut the curve. Just really take your time here. Okay, first corner is cut. second corner. I might block the camera here, sorry. So just really taking your time going around the corner and not. All right, 2 corners cut. Need a bigger shop is what I really need. But then again, I would probably just fill it with stuff. Okay, so we just got to cut the last 2 corners. I'm just trying to think. This one's going to be pretty easy for me. This one's going to be a little harder, so cut the harder one first, I guess. And it's really just trying to get the positioning on it. Alright. Just really take your time around the corner, especially towards the end. Now we're on to the last cut here. Just carefully go around. Okay. And there we go. See? Not bad. It came out pretty good. Not perfect, but can slightly just clean it up. You don't want to take a lot of material off here because then you'll have to have a gap. But you can take a little bit off. And it actually came out pretty decent. Alright, so there's the hatch cut up. Pretty happy with that. Now, I do have the dummy motor in here I gotta take out now. The fit up motor, I should say. Carefully pull this motor out. All right. All right, that's the fit up motor is now out. so what I've got to do is get some sandpaper. I'm going to use 320. And let's see. Yeah, I got what I wanted. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up the edges here. So what you do is I'm using a bottle here that meets the same radius. And it's just a couple swipes with the paper. Just a couple swipes in the corners just to clean it up. And okay. Just cleaning it up, not taking a lot of material off. Just nice thing about sticky back paper, you can stick it to your finger. Okay. All right. And there's the battery opening now. Okay. All right, now we gotta put these bolts away with the dummy engine. All right, now to the fit up piece, and what I'm gonna do is make a ledge. So this piece sits on a ledge. It should sit flush. I'm gonna do something different. I usually use 64th plywood here. I want to see if I could use the 007 carbon. I think that might be a little bit lighter. We'll see. So we'll just cut a. Here's what I'm thinking. It'll go in like that. And I think once saturated with some CA, I think it's going to help, you know. So, and I don't have any 1/64 plywood either, so it's another challenge. But all right, let's cut this out. So I'm going to cut it about, let's see, about 5/8 of an inch will make it. Okay. All right, that's 5/8. I also think this is going to help stiffen up because I'm going to embed it a good good half an inch or so. And this will stiffen this up as well. Man. Dust the key. So I do work in a pretty small shop, as you can see. Now I'm going to run this former to former. Scissors. Look inside, see how long I am. About 9. 8 3/4. 8 and a strong 3/4. One. That's 2. Okay, the other thing that you do is I'm going to put a piece of probably 1/32 ply here. Just a little tab to allow it to kind of hold it in the front. So just hold the front in and the back will snap in. Take a little bit off of it. Pretty good. So now the big trick for me is how do I not glue my fingers to this? That's definitely gonna happen. I'm going to put a new tip on, just because I don't want CA running all over the place. Here we go. And I only want it sticking up about 1/8 of an inch lip, roughly. So let's Let's see. I'm just gonna tack it in as we go here. And what's nice with the 007 carbon is it absorbs the CA. You'll see it wick right into it, so and it becomes hardened, I'll say. And CA is very capillary, so it kind of goes everywhere. Take a Q-tip. So that really stiffened this up a lot, and it's going to act as a good shelf in there to kind of hold it in place. I'm going to reach in here and kind of press these, so I got full gluing here. So I'm done. I'll kind of reach in through the inside and lay it out, but that's pretty good. I like that better than the plywood. It's very stiff. What I'll do is I'm going to coat, because you don't want it to fray, so I'm going to coat the entire thing. CA, and then I'm going to take my Q-tip and wipe all the excess off. Let that dry a second, and we'll put the other side on. Quick some CA in there. So with plenty of CA into it, okay. We'll let that dry a second. It's an inch, no more than 3/8 of an inch over. scrap piece of 30-second. Alright, so now we're setting up the what I'll call the tongue, I guess. To me, it'll be a little bit shorter. If you look, it's just a piece of 30-second. Alright, let's put some marks on it to kind of locate this. Alright, so I just matched it up. I made some marks just to kind of match it up. We can always sand this as well. The other thing I'm probably going to do with this is I'm probably going to line this edge with 007 carbon. Just because it takes a beating. I'll let this dry a second. All right, well that's dry, and we're going to cut out for the hole on here. All right, this size is pretty good. Just going to sharpen the end. Just sharpen the end up so it's really sharp. Just gotta check something. Yes, okay. Alright, so this is the end right there. Kind of eyeballing a little bit. It's not super critical, but there's one hole. Okay. So my 2 holes, and then I'll match the lines up, and we're ready to put that in. Just cut all the way through. Just clean it up a little bit. Okay, perfect. You just want to make sure it retracts all the way. Alright, so what I want to do is just tack glue this in place. Just a slight tack. Okay. Like I said, just a slight tack on it. Just make sure I'm happy with it. Can I open it all the way? Yes. Alright, so now we're going to trowel fit it up. Okay. So we're a little tight, which is good. Some of the, so we'll clean up the edges a little more. That's all pretty good. Just a little bit tight around the edges. So we'll clean them up. Now you want a very slight gap. Now what I'm going to put a plate over here to kind of lock that in as well. I'll take a piece of probably 1/32. That should pull it down and in. But overall, pretty close. And sometimes I'll just back cut the edges so they lay down. And I may put a stiffener in here. Or definitely what I'm going to do is put that carbon around the edge to kind of tighten out a little bit. Also just So here's the thing. I'm going to load the battery in. I'm going to be able to pull some straps around to tighten it. Okay, pretty good. Just cleaning up the carbon edge a little bit. Okay, definitely add some rigidity. For minimal weight gain, so probably going to put a piece back here, I think. What I'll do is I'll cut it out, I'll notch it for where the just Q-tip here. Just let it dry in there, pushing it up against it. Okay. Now we just gotta cut it, we're gonna have to notch it to get around the So the 007 carbon becomes really hard once the CA dries. So that's nice that it really stiffens up that much. I'm just going to dress the edges. Okay. Let's see how this works. Yeah, and that's how I do the battery hatch. It's like a little bit of work to do to fit it in up top a little bit better. I think if I pull it in a little more with that, it'll be good. But overall, pretty good. Pretty close on the fit up and everything else. All right. I'm wondering. All right. So what I'm gonna do is put a see if I can hold this in place long enough to glue it. Ah. Cool, if you're on the floor and you can't see it, I'll find it later. Ah, we can make another one. So maybe what I'll do that might be easier to do. So what I'll do is I'll hold it up in place, get it exactly where I want, I'll just trim it off to what size I want later. I'll just cut over my carbide tip. Much better. Okay. Yeah, much better fit up. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up a little bit because the resin will warm up, and I'm going to curve it just a little bit. What I'm doing is just slightly curving this, just so it kind of sits in. one side. You can feel it gets warm, it gets pliable. And just hold it. Got a little bit of curve to it. Just a slight curve, and then it should lock in. And there we go. And that fit up is pretty good. A little work in that corner, but yeah. So what I'm going to add a brace in the middle and kind of just suck it in a little bit, just so it stays in tighter. But it's very close right there. When you start finishing the work on it, become just about right. All right. So that's how I do the battery hatch. And it just comes right off like that. I'll permanently glue this in. I'll use some between thick and thin CA. I'll do it right here. I really try not to glue this piece in place. But I always joke, I've done it before. So let's just show you on the inside. And you can see that's the 007 carbon. And what's nice, it adds some stiffness here with really no weight gain at all. All right, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. So I'll try and get on again sometime this week. I think up next is really final fit up of the wings, put the wing ribs in. And then it's really all pure cosmetics at that point. I do got to make an ESC mount, which I'll glue, and I can do it at any time. I like to permanently mount my ESC. It's just a plywood plate that I zip tie the thing to. I may cut out for a NACA duct to get some air on top of the battery. We'll see. Like again, that's all really just cosmetic stuff at that point. All right, so hope you enjoyed. Thanks everyone. If you like it, subscribe, tell your friends. See ya.